They need to start hearing the truth of the matter of what it is.
They do, Bonnie. Boogie with the Bull. Red Friday Morning is live on a device somewhere near you. It's 10:02 on the East Coast, and it's whatever time it is where you are. With us this morning, a distinguished panel of guest experts is what I was going to say. Randy Rhodes is always with us. Bonnie Johnson is newly with us. Bill Muckler.
Good morning.
Bill Muckler is only going to be with us when he wants to now, but when you're 89 years old and you're a retired Marine captain, I believe an entrepreneur that has a very successful consulting business that is still going, Bill?
No, I'm retired from consulting now.
Well,
my whole efforts right now are two things. One is writing and publishing my books, and two is helping veterans and different veterans organizations.
And
Thank you, Bill.
Don't quote me, but I believe I heard Bill say in the green room before we went live, there is going to be a sequel to 6 Soft Targets. And I'm wondering if it will be 7 Soft Targets.
No, I've already got it set up and everything. I'm gonna call it the Aftermath. Now that could change, but if you after you finish reading the novel, it's a work of fiction. There's an aftermath to it, and the last chapter, the last part of the book is the aftermath. So this book will be the aftermath. I don't want to tell you what happens in the book because nobody will want to read it. It's true. But I just got
I have to buy the first one.
I just got an email I read just before I came on from a couple over in Melbourne, Florida. They're both Air Force reserved personnel and retired Air Force, and I used their name in the book, but I made him a Marine, and he thought that was great that I made Marine. So what I did in the book is I took a lot of my friends and people who bought my books or donated and contributed to my efforts. I made them characters in the book. So and I couldn't get them all in there, but I got as many in as I could possibly do. And so some people, like an Air Force veteran, he becomes a Marine veteran. And one of my favorite guys is a guy that was my sergeant back in around 1960 era. He was my operations sergeant. I was a senior air director in the Marine Air Control Squadron. I made him an FBI agent, and actually, he's a year older than me, and I killed him off in the book. And I'm thinking, oh God, I have to do this, you know. So anyway, it's all fiction. It's just my first stab at trying to see if I could write something.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure it's going to do very well.
Well, thank you for your service, Bill. I just love you. I think you're a wonderful person. You've done a lot with your life, and especially these books is just amazing. If I can possibly ask you, Bill, the man that's helping me with this project out here in Alabama, he's an Army veteran and he's about your age. His name is GT. If you could possibly send me your new book that's posted behind your Facebook page to the man that's helping me with it and sign it, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Just give me the information,
the address
on my Facebook Messenger thing. I can get it off of there. And
thank you.
So anybody, you heard that. If you want Bill's books, the 2020 books, 6 Soft Targets, the Aftermath, and all the books that Bill doesn't even know Bill's going to write yet. Go to the Bill Muckler Facebook profile and message him. Make sure you include your name, tell him about yourself, give him your address. The books will be mailed to you. And from what I understand now, he's asking for donations. And as far as I'm concerned, your donation should cover the cost of the book, the cost of the postage, and whatever else. So my suggestion is that on the 2020 books, if you want them from Bill, send a donation of $25. And if you want the novel 6 Soft Targets, make sure you send an equal donation of $25 for that. I mean,
and where do we send the $25, Dave? Is it through Amazon or PayPal, or tell us how we send that? Let's get a link up today.
No.
My web, you can buy my books or contribute on my webpage. My print books are not on Amazon. Amazon and I have a very unusual alliance. I'm an Amazon buyer. I'm an Amazon seller. I sell products on Amazon. Amazon pays me money, very little, and it takes them 90 days because they hold on your money 90 days. That's part of the secret of Amazon's success, is they're using other people's money. So
exactly,
when I had my books on there, they were my books sitting on their shelf. They sold the book, they took all the profit, and 90 days later, they took all the proceeds. 90 days later, they sent me a small commission, but I had to pay for the book, and my books cost me roughly $18 to $20 to produce by the time I pay for the printing. But that's only a small part of it. That's a minuscule part of it. I have to pay for the ISBN numbers. I got to pay for the QR code or whatever the hell that is. I got to pay so many different things to publish a book. I could find a publisher. No publisher would publish my book. Let's just. I went through that, and people say, "Oh, go here, go there." I'm done with that. I cannot take more than the rejections I got. I got more than 50 rejections from publishers who said they would not publish my book. They had no interest in it whatsoever. So the whole thing is, I'm out here doing this on my own. I have to pay for my webpage. I have to pay money. You cannot believe all the costs that is involved in that. People say, well, why do you want, give it to us free? Well, it's my money. It's not a publisher's money. It's my savings and my investments. And like my CPA said, Bill, you need to try and figure out how to lessen your losses, which is where I'm at now. And I'm not complaining about this because I didn't get into this to make money. I didn't get into this to, charge a lot of money or anything like that. And anyway, let's talk about other things than just me.
Okay.
Over the last 2 weeks,
I have to interrupt you for a second, Bill. Got to do something very important. Jenn Woodruff, the homeschooling mom, has joined the broadcast, and we have to give her the official Red Friday salute.
Good morning, Jenn.
Good morning. It's good to see you. This is great. I like your hat. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Bill, you know Jenn.
Hi, Jenn.
Next Friday, I'll be wearing my Alabama hat.
Okay.
Fun.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, exactly.
Right. That's awesome.
Hey, somebody's got some noise in the background. Sounds like they're in a thunderstorm or something like that.
It might be Jenn, because I've been on for a while.
Yeah.
No, it usually is interference that comes from the network that we're on, and it usually goes away. It usually goes away. It just they're figuring if they interfere with enough that we might leave, but we're not doing that.
Okay. I've got something that's very important that I have to do pretty soon.
Okay.
This is really critical. It's not anything that I can put off. And that's that, hey, I'm going to be 89. I keep my condo in great shape, but I can't do things like floors and stuff like that. My back and hips just won't handle it. So I have somebody comes in every fourth Friday at 1 o'clock. Christy, she's fantastic. Her father was a Chosin Reservoir Marine from the 5th Marines. She takes care of me, and everything, but I have to straighten everything up, put everything away. So I need to get onto that before she gets here. Otherwise, I'll get chewed out by my DI for having a barracks that's not in good condition. Anyway, it's Red Friday. Remember, everybody deployed. I'm really concerned about. We've got young men and women that are deployed now, and I don't want them deployed. I want to bring them home. And like I always say on my show, we need to remember and honor every one of them. And if they're not deployed overseas, but they're here in the States someplace, in 5 minutes or 5 hours, they can be on their way to some godforsaken place in Africa or the Mideast or in Asia or somewhere and be in harm's way, and they can be in just in a day. So I'm against this never-ending wars that we're having that have no outcome, no end game, no result. All we're doing is just sending our young men and women into harm's way. I want to bring them back home. And for a guy who's a Marine, we're supposed to be the guys who, love to go to battle. No, we don't. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're strong enough that nobody's going to mess with us. And unfortunately now, that's not the case. And that doesn't have anything to do with the Marine Corps or any of the other branches. It has to do with our commander-in-chief and our leadership. And that brings me to something that I wanted to talk about today. The last 2 weeks have clarified something in my mind completely. The Democrats are going to win the November election. Biden is going to become president again. If not him, it's going to be Harris or somebody else, some other puppet they put in there. Because here's what they got. They got diversity, equity, inclusion, killing Jews, killing unborn babies. That's their whole thing. I mean, it's so clear now. They've clarified it so much over the last 2 weeks. The Democrat Party stands for diversity, equity, inclusion, killing Jews, and killing unborn babies. And they're going to convince the rest of the population, or the biggest part of the population, that this is the direction our country needs to go in. And they got willing compatriots in the mainstream media. They got TikTok. They got all this stuff going on. And if none of that works, then they'll stop counting the votes at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they'll bring in truckloads full of pre-voted ballots, and they'll win that way. And if you say anything I do, and I say the 2020 election was rigged, it was fake, and Biden never won, I'm a bad guy, I'm an election denier. And okay, I'm an election denier. So what? Anyway, the background noise has gotten to the point where I can. Does anybody else hear? Is it me?
I can't hear it.
Dave,
And now I can.
unmute.
It stopped for a second and then it started again. It's either somewhere in our internet here, or
And now I can hear it a little bit myself. So I think it's something to do with the network.
Yeah, it's usually Facebook trying to interfere with us.
Try to interfere with what we're saying because they're a bunch of communists. Facebook is.
Right. But what I do want to have happen before Bill leaves today is I want Bill and Randy to predict who is not going to win the presidential election in November, because I don't know the next time you guys will be together and be able to predict it. So you guys both predict it right now. Oh, I said that and it stopped. No, it's back. But anyway, Randy, who do you think do you think Trump is going to win the election? I can't hear Randy.
We're not able to hear you, Randy.
Randy, your mic is not on. They don't have your mic, Randy.
It's most likely Facebook not allowing us to talk to anybody. It usually
Randy,
is.
you're on mute.
Randy.
It's okay. We're used to
Your mic
this.
Your mic is muted, Randy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
That's a Verizon commercial. I can hear you now.
Yeah, it sounds like a heartbeat on that background noise. No, I do not believe President Trump has a snowball chance in hell of winning. And I don't believe any Republican has a snowball chance in winning. And these are my reasons why. We all know that the 2020 election was stolen. Okay? And we know who was behind the theft. We know that those on the left have changed the laws to allow multi-millions of illegal military-aged people into our country. We know that those on the left are allowing colleges and universities to be the seed point of creation of new terrorists who hate our nation. If a Republican was to win the election, he would have to spend, or her, the first 2-3 years putting everybody in prison for treason, because the laws are still on there for treason. So if that was the case, the law says you are to be hung or put to death for treason. And the Democrats, left-wing liberals, don't want that. They were able to successfully steal the election. They have 4 years to perfect that, and they're going to create, I think, what like Don Bongino said, a massive master bacterial attack on our nation, and they're going to use it for Biden to create 150 new laws which will allow him to stay in office. We have also the ability of going into war. I just heard from a congressional meeting that we actually have a artificial reef that was built by our military that sits off of the Gaza, I believe. And there are American military soldiers on that artificial reef. The congressman asked him, if that reef is attacked, what is the response going to be? And the idiot that's now the Secretary of the Defense said that if they are attacked, they have the ability to respond back, which means we would have boots on the ground fighting a war that Biden claims he never would never do. Having said all that, Trump is going to eventually win all his criminal cases. And I think he's going to either be assassinated or someone close to him is going to be assassinated that's going to convince him that running for the White House is not what he should do. He should concentrate on his family. And that's my personal belief.
And now I want to go to Bill. Bill, your comments.
Okay. Apparently what's happening is we're getting feedback because the sound is such a roar that I can just bear it. It's overwhelming. And I don't know if when people or other people are watching, if they're going to see this, hear the same thing. But anyway, I don't disagree with what Randy's analysis is. I think he's spot on it. It's fixed. Look what's happening in these court cases. Trump is in court now. He can't speak. They got him on gag orders. If he talks every time he says something, it's $1,000 fine. They're threatening to put him in jail. They're never going to put him in jail. If they did that, I think there might be a revolt. But what's happening is what's the trial that he's in New York that he's sitting in on now? They call it the hush money trial. Oh, right away. Just think of it. The title of it means he's guilty of doing something bad. He's done something bad because they've already convicted him. And I watch CNN and MSNBC and so forth, and they're laying out all these crimes that Trump committed, and then I watch Fox and actually say there's no crime. Well, The judges have already made their decisions on Trump is guilty. They've got jurors in there who are all jurors from New York. They're all leftists. That's the only way they got on the jury. They're going to convict Trump. What they convict him of, they'll make something up. I don't know what it's going to be. But you can see the overall thing is not that. It's the whole thing is that it's all rigged. They've made all this thing up to stop Trump from painting and to make him look like a bad guy, even to the point where they say it's a hush money trial. Why don't they say, oh, this is a crime that he's committed and this is what he's being what he's being judged for? No, they come up with a title and make it sound like he's already guilty.
Okay, hang on just a minute. The interference is really bad. Is everybody hearing it really bad?
Yes, it's overwhelming for me.
Okay.
I feel like we're all in an MRI together. It's really weird.
Okay, let me see. I'll go outside and see if this changes it at all. It could be just, my location of where I'm at, because we're getting a lot of storms out here. Is that much better? Just let me know if that's better.
Yeah,
You've
sure,
always
but-
sounded perfect.
No, it's still there in the background.
It's
Yeah,
still there? Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay. It might be the weather. It could be, some of the Facebook, basically they don't want us to say anything that they, don't overhear first because they're a bunch of communists and we know that. But Bill, I want to let you know, again, thank you for your service and how much I appreciate you. Everything that you say is very meaningful and very important to this country. I certainly agree with that. We are having a lot of issues in this country, but I do believe with God, we can solve and go through anything and make this happen.
That's
You just-
awesome.
Bonnie, you just mentioned something. By the way, Bonnie, when you're speaking, there's no feedback whatsoever. When Jenn or myself or anybody else speaks, the feedback is overwhelming. I can
Okay,
hear it.
so in that case, because it's hot out here, I'm going to go back in on this news interview.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure it wasn't me as a test case, and we'll get Jen back on. Nope, it's not me then. Good. Thank you.
I was like, no, keep Bonnie talking because it doesn't hit us when she
Right.
Oh,
Sorry, Bonnie.
I'm sorry. One moment. Oh, thank you. Anyway, so what we're going to go forward with on this news interview is we're going to go forward on talking about how we're going to solve this country and the problems within it. So I would like to go ahead and talk about that. I'm going to say God, country, family, or family, country, God, however you want to put it, but God always comes first. We have to have some faith on turning this around. And I do believe that we can, but it's going to take everyone, where we go one, we go all. I mean, it can't just be a few of us or a handful. It's got to be everybody involved, especially our patriots and the people that want to speak about, the things that are important. And if we can't save the children in our country, then we aren't a country, is how I feel.
That's good.
Yeah,
They're the
and
future.
actually, and what's happening in America today is that, and this is the, everybody has to understand, this is purely intentional. Back in 1965, when Lyndon Johnson started out with the Great Society, the Great Society was to dissolve the nuclear family, get rid of the family, because once we get rid of the family, then the people have nothing to believe in, because then we can get them not to believe in God. Everybody has to believe in something. And what they want us to do is believe in the almighty government. Some of us, we still want to believe in our Savior, in God, and in the family. But when the government decided that we're going to eliminate the nuclear family, take the fathers out of the homes, what we do? We got crime, we got drugs, we got everything going on, and nobody is really talking about this to speak of. I try to talk about it on my show, but nobody wants to listen to it. But eventually, something has to happen to turn this whole thing around, because the government's not going to solve the problem. The government is the problem. What we have to do is find a way that we can get the families back together and have the families take back our country. But unfortunately, the families are all out working, trying to survive amidst this high inflation we have, while we've got the news is totally captured by paid activists who are ruining our campuses and so forth. And this is the biggest thing in the news now: Free Palestine. What? And why? What for? How about let's make America first? But we don't see anybody in the news talking about let's make America first. We're talking about let's free Palestine. Think about that. You know, the whole thing is turned around, and the reason it's turned around upside down is that's the way they can brainwash us, and they can get us to a point where we forget about the real values that we need to be talking about, and we need to be exercising in our country today.
Well, you know what the problem is, this might rub some people the wrong way, and if it does, I apologize. But you know what the problem is I was raised. I'll speak from from my standpoint. I was raised to believe in God, that God's in control, and that all things are possible through God if you take it to prayer. Okay, I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying that if that is true, good God, He is a very patient God because of all the stuff that's going on. But the other side, who don't follow those same Christian values, and the Democrats know how to trigger them, they will get them to go out into the streets, out into the college campuses, out into the supermarkets, I mean, across our nation, to attack those who won't fight back. Because we were told, turn the other cheek, pray about it, God's in control, there's a reason for it. And the left knows that. So they're out there destroying our cities, destroying our college campuses, brainwashing our students, while the Christians, the right, the conservatives, sit back and say, well, God's in control. He knows what's best for us. Just let it play it out. And as long as we have that attitude, it's not going to happen. Now, God also said, pick up your hoe and go into war. Fight for what you want. Go in there and destroy everything. Leave nothing behind, not even an animal. So God is a God of war. He is a God of conflict. He's not just God of love and kisses and washing feet. We have to start taking pages of that Bible and saying, time is up. We're done. We're going to start fighting back. Yeah, it's going to be blood in the street. It might even be bullets in the street. But you know what? What is the alternative? We have lost our nation. Right now, as I see it, we have lost our nation. There is nothing right now we can do to take it back other than to fight for what we want. The founding fathers took on a nation that at that point in time was the greatest nation, the most powerful nation on the planet. The farmers went out into the fields with their hoes, their rakes, their black powder rifles, their clubs, whatever, and they kicked ass. Yeah, they lost some, but you know what? As they learned how to fight and they changed the narrative of the way to fight, the British soldiers, what do? They lined the frig up, 3-4 deep. And because they thought that as long as they have the numbers, eventually they'll win the battle. So you got a row of soldiers, 3-4 deep, walking into an open field, and you give them the chance to fire the weapon. Boom! Whole first line goes down. So then they fire, and then our line goes down. And boom, and back and forth. But eventually, they figured out, our founding fathers figured out a better way to fight. And that was guerrilla warfare. Fight from the bushes, fight from the hedges, fight from the walls, and you will eventually win the battle. And that's what happened.
Wow,
So
that's great.
I'm tired of people saying, sit back, pray about it, it's going to change. It's not until we take matters in our hands and change it. Now, you'll say, okay, well, look at the J6 people. Look what they did. Well, you know what? I don't believe that all those folks were there voluntarily. They got set up, okay? The FBI was in there. They got set up, and they got arrested for their effort. It wasn't Trump, okay? He had nothing to do with that. But as long as we have the thought that the Democrats are in control of the court system, they're in control of the FBI, the CIA, and all the other three-letter alphabets, okay, they're going to win because they have the narrative. So we can sit back and let it play out, and 2024 rolls around. We got another Biden in the office, and our nation becomes a totally socialist nation, and we're going to be eating out of trash cans. Or, we can, hopefully someone stands up. Somehow I don't see Trump stand up as the general saying, follow me into combat. But someone's got to stand up and take the lead and say, it's time to fight back.
Okay, one quick thing, Bonnie.
Yes.
Are you listening to the broadcast on Facebook?
I am listening to the broadcast on Facebook. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the problem. You have to log out of Facebook.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then, because I had some people at my door, and it's regarding this
Okay.
housing project I'm doing for,
Okay.
can you hear me? Hopefully,
Yeah.
for disabled
Yeah.
veterans. I'm going to
Okay.
log out with you guys today.
All right.
It might be my
Yeah,
own interruption of my own, and I have people that need to speak to me as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no,
Bye.
it's just a technical.
Bye, Bonnie. See you
Happy
soon.
Red Friday. And Bill,
Yeah.
thank you for your service. I love you to death, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
Okay, thank
thanks,
you.
Bonnie. All right. Yeah. That unfortunately is the problem. You can't have Facebook, the audio on Facebook going on a speaker while you're on a broadcast, because it doubles back and that creates the noise. What we got to do is make sure everybody has earbuds or a headset, or like Bill, he's only going through the broadcast. But anyway, so I apologize for that interference. Sometimes StreamYard, before they post it everywhere as the podcast, sometimes they can filter that out. But
yeah, can I say something?
Yes.
About Randy's comment. Yes, God is in control, but what a lot of the ignorant Christians are not realizing is that he works through people, and that the Red Sea would not split so they could pass through it until Moses put his staff down. And the Jewish people would not have been saved unless Esther had spoken to the king. And it was like such a scary time. The whole book of Esther is amazing. And she was chosen for such a time as that, just as we are chosen for such a time as this. And it's not that we're sitting back and praying and saying, you're in control, God. And he's probably saying, get up, get on your feet, and do something. Even if it's just calling Congress and talking to your senators and saying, shut that wall or shut that door, do this, tell them what to do. They still have the phone number open. They wouldn't have the phone number if they didn't expect people to call it. So I use it regularly. I feel like they know my name when I call. They're probably like, yes, Jennifer from Idaho. But anyways, that's okay. Be involved. If that's all you can do it. And so don't just sit. I don't think any of us are sitting back, but I know the people that Randy is talking about that are saying God is in control. Well, then get up and let him work through you, because that's how everything that ever happened in the Bible happened, was through man. We're all like stages, and he wants to be big through us. And that's all I have to say, is that it's not that we're useless without him. And that is how he's in control.
Hey guys, it's really getting late, and I got a lot of things I have to do. Thanks
right.
so much for having me on the show, and
Thank you,
I
Bill.
wish you guys all a blessed weekend, and have a great rest of the show. And I'll just say, hey,
And you come back soon.
remember our young men and women, and let's try and bring the family back and get us back in church. And
That's good.
I guess we're the ones following the rules, and the ones who are breaking the rules are the ones who are winning. So and we got to turn that around. Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks everybody. I'll see
All right,
you.
Bill. Come back soon. All right. Yeah, the interference, we had our tech crew looking at it as best they could. It appears that Bonnie had the audio from Facebook being recorded while she was on the broadcast. So we just have to make sure that everybody either has earbuds, headphones, or is only listening to the audio as we record the broadcast. And technical things that we learn, and makes our broadcast a whole lot more fun than any other broadcast you get to listen to. So, where were we? Randy? Ed?
Well,
Yeah, we were predicting who was going to be the next president and how this was going to play out.
Yep.
And yeah, I think obviously I know Trump is going to win with all the votes, but they're not going to tell us that. And then I'm telling you, so they're going to prop that corpse guy up again as the next president. And I'm telling you, he's going to pass out right there or pass away right there. He's going to stand up to accept his fake inauguration again, and he's gone. And I hope he takes
there seems to be some rumors coming from within the Democrat Party that he is going to go to their convention in Ohio on August 19th. And he's going to win the nomination. Then supposedly around June 13th, there are rumors that he is going to step down, and that supposedly he's going to step down. He's going to endorse Gavin Newsom, who is supposedly who the Democrats want to run anyway. Pledge his delegates to Newsom, and his electoral votes and all of that stuff to Newsom. And the Democrats seem to think that if this happens, that the governor of California could become the president of the United States. I don't necessarily agree. Randy doesn't seem to give me the impression that he agrees. I don't know where you are on the question. Then there's also a whole lot of speculation that if Trump wins, could something happen before Inauguration Day that keeps him from being able to become president? And if that happens, does whoever his vice president automatically become inaugurated? Well, his inaugurated vice president would become president because they won the election. Although the Democrats, I'm sure, would figure out some way to say, no, that can't happen, and we have to run a new election. But I don't know. If you listen to Tucker Carlson, he says that out of the 50 million illegal immigrants here in this country, 22 million of them need to get registered and vote Democrat. And if they do that, there'll never be another Republican elected in the history of the United States. But I don't know if that is true either. Everybody does have their speculation. I'm afraid that we may not take back the Senate. We might keep the House, but keeping the House doesn't seem to do us any good anyway, because it seems that the House is still operating on the Democrat agenda.
It just seems that, I've said it before, and I get so frustrated, hearing myself say it again and again. I just can't understand why there are those who are in the Congress and the Senate and the White House, uh, and the individual governors and so forth. Why in the hell are they so damn determined to tear down this great nation? I mean, do they think that at the end of the day that they individually are going to be sitting on a mountaintop somewhere in their marble estate with their 20-foot tall high walls and their security detail, while the rest of the nation is groveling for food out of the trash cans? Is that the nation they want to live in?
Well, okay, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, it's just so damn frustrating to see how they are.
Well, it seems that last night, that's what Robert Angel Little was saying, that he believes they want to see socialism. They want to launch socialism. It's not that they want to see it happen. They want to make sure we become a socialist nation. And I don't see it happening only unless, like I said, they can manage to get enough illegal immigrants registered to vote. They vote Democrat, and then that's what's going to happen. Because if Donald Trump is true to his word and he becomes president and he sits in the Oval Office, 50 million people stand to be deported. And if they voted, which once it's found that any of those 50 million illegals voted, this is going to launch the whole 2024 election into a whole bunch of things that I think will make its way to the Supreme Court, and it will be the Supreme Court who decides who won the presidential election. I don't trust Kamala Harris being Senate president as she's vice president. I don't trust her from launching another January 6th.
But can we trust the Supreme Court? I mean, I know that Trump placed 3 in there, and with the belief that they will continue to challenge laws that go against the Constitution and support the Constitution and support Trump and so forth. But I think that to some degree they might, but I think they're too damn afraid. And that's why they didn't overturn the election results, because they're being threatened by their families are being threatened, their homes are being threatened, because the assholes in Congress released the addresses of these secured locations of the Supreme Court justices. Because if I'm not mistaken, their home addresses are supposed to be protected in order to protect the Supreme Court justices. And those assholes in the White House released the addresses so that they can go there and protest and shine their lights into the bedroom windows and threaten their lives.
Well, people are saying Scott Labredo posts a video on X almost every day, or sometimes more than one, and he's saying that if
I love him.
If Biden wins, 150 million Americans are gonna have some kind of riot and whatever, and the other 150 million, if Biden wins, are gonna probably take us into a civil war. And I think that's probably what the Biden regime wants, because enough Americans will die in that civil war that
I don't see a civil war happening, as much as I have tried to say it will. My faith and this is probably gonna lose me. Make me lose some friends, but I was always believing that the South would rise again, that it would come to one, and that they would fight and split the nation, and keep valued what they want, which is God, family, and country. but knowing what I know is that their groups are so fractured because they each want a piece of the pie. They won't come together as a one. They won't, give up some of their selfishness and come together as. I mean, if you remember the movies, the Civil War movies, like Gettysburg and so forth, and you see the general, and he says, "For Virginia," right, and they walk off into the freaking open field, and they get plastered by all the cannons. That's unity. That's the belief in your general to get you to the other side. Right now, I don't see that for the South, okay? And I was hoping the South would be what will be the answer to our nation and become a whole again. But the South is so fractured with all the different groups. They're each following their own general, okay? And they're not coming together. And I think that's probably why I'm on the outs, because I open my mouth and I say, look, come together as one.
No, you keep coming here and you open your mouth anytime, because I don't talk about numbers lately, but our numbers are we're not doing fantastic by Facebook standards, but our numbers are doing great because you come here 3 days a week and you open your mouth. And I wish Jenn would come here and open her mouth, because when she opens her mouth, I don't have to open my mouth.
Oh no.
See, with Jenn, I like Jenn. I like Jenn because she brings the feminine side of the conversation. She comes from the side of the family, okay, of church, because without a strong family, okay, the backbone of this nation are strong families. And that is why the one guy who goes all to college campuses and he talks about, what's going on, that is why the black family is apt at, that's why the black family is so apt at having their sons join gangs and do criminal activities and eventually get killed, because there's no father figure in the family to keep him in line. What Jenn brings is a strong family background with 5 children. She homeschooled them. They're all turned out to be very successful, which is kudos to her. And what we need are more families like her to unify this nation.
Wow.
Oh,
Thank you, Melinda.
Jenn, come on.
I'm waiting for Jenn. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's
Well,
fun.
Well, when it comes time to actually start paying people instead of just paying people from a budget of nothing, Jenn very well may be paid. I do want to take it to a slight different subject for a second. Jenn, did you see JJ McCartney's latest video post?
No. He asked me that the other day, and I said, no, I did not see your
I just
video.
happened to fall upon it yesterday.
What's it about?
I guess he is in, as he called it, a halfway house in North Platte, Nebraska.
Right.
And looks like he's lost some weight, a lot of weight, which he may or may not have needed to do, but brain still looked 100%. I sent him a message basically begging him, like I have in the past, even if you don't have a studio, just put a tablet in front of your face, because your brain is still 100. I said to him, your brain sounds like it's still 100% there. Just come and have fun with us.
That would be great.
I don't know if I'll hear back from him.
I don't know, but
I hope you do. I almost said it, and Jenn will be on the broadcast too. Then he probably would have. If I write him back, which I'm sure I probably will, if I don't hear from him in a day or two, that may be my secret weapon that says, "Hey, Jenn wants you to come on."
There you go. There
He's
you
friends
go.
with Jesse, and last night Jesse's like, "I'm sending you a pizza," because we're like, "Wherever you are, you got an address, and there's a Domino's." So he sent him a pizza, and he put the pizza on Facebook today, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was funny." He took a picture of it. That was cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really hope he does get him. He loves, and that's his
He
nick.
needs
You
he
know?
needs to be doing this. I even said to him, it's not about studios and fancy
Right.
studio equipment anymore. It's just come and open your mouth and like the rest of us and have a whole lot of fun.
Be a patriot, right? He's awesome.
Be a patriot. And it's like we made Jen get out of bed earlier this morning and probably didn't even have time for coffee. And didn't
Oh, I
have
have it right now. Yeah.
breakfast before she came on. Randy, you're supposed to ask Jen for a donut because Jen said something last night about bringing donuts.
Did I? No, that's funny. But you know what?
Chocolate cream filled donuts.
That's right. White powdered chocolate cream donuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had mentioned the other day that there's and this here is also a reason why our nation is failing, because our government is destroying the family businesses. There's
Right.
here in Lancaster County, we have Amish and Mennonites, Dunkards, Quakers, and so forth. Very religious county, and a lot of them live on farms. So they, will sell off their extra whatever. There was a family name, Stauffers, goes back quite a few years, and they just started off with their little stand at the end of their path to their farmhouse and selling fruits and veggies. And now this guy's got like 30 major super center grocery stores, right? But he didn't lose the whole reason why he is successful, which is the Christian values, the customer service, the value of the product that he's selling, which brings me to the donuts. They have their own bakery, and back in the bakery, you see these nice old Mennonite ladies and young Mennonite ladies, and they're cooking away all these gorgeous pastries. And when they're done, holy smokes, here's this donut, and they shove that, that whipped cream thing, whatever that icing bag, into the damn donut, and they fill it full of ice and whatever flavor it is.
Awesome.
And it goes from this to that, right? And it's like, oh my God, it's heart attack time. But they're I love them.
And you'll die happy.
And I'll die happy, And the same thing with, they have their deli with all the fresh foods and stuff. As long as we are able to maintain a family value, we may have a chance of surviving this. But it's the Democrats are trying to keep Trump in the courtroom, off of the campaign trail, and they're trying to, and I love it because it's just the other day, Trump's lawyer makes fun of the defense,
Defense attorney?
with the check, Trump didn't even know he was being blackmailed. They proved that, And they're saying that, he knew about the $150,000 whatever dollar it was. He didn't know that he was being blackmailed, or whatever the word they use. So they're proving his innocence, but it's just a point that they have to keep fighting off these false accusations.
Yep.
Wow. I know.
That's what they're going to do. My biggest one so far is Judge Merchan thinking that he could tell President Trump that you cannot go to the Supreme Court immunity hearing. Because like I said, if I was Attorney General, Judge Merchan would be in my office with President Trump explaining to me why you told the Supreme Court, the only court that is really justified in speaking anything about the Constitution, that Donald Trump couldn't be there.
Is he the
Because
same? He's the same guy that said Donald Trump could not attend
Yeah, he could not attend
Barron's
Barron's
graduation.
graduation.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I mean, you I can't really even get it into words, and it's not even dementia. I just can't even get it into words about how that judge has invited himself to be disbarred and kicked off the bench for life.
Yeah, well, he's waiting for that Netflix movie about the whole thing. You know.
Yeah.
And you know it's coming. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
There's going to be a multi-series of Trump court trials. Season 1.
I think Cheech Marin is going to sign up to play Judge Merchan, or maybe I don't know. Maybe they could get George Lopez, because he can be insanely stupid if he wants to be. It's too bad George Carlin is not still with us, because George Carlin would be on either doing his own show or on all the other late night shows, just speaking about how screwed up we have become.
Did you see the big deal that the left made, that the media, I think it was like Eric Trump was in the courtroom, and how he looked so sad seeing his father under attack, blah, 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 blah. Of course he's going to, look sad and angry and so forth, seeing his father, what his father's being, dragged through. I don't know, but I loved it. I saw the news, and I don't often watch a Democrat station, but unfortunately they're the only news networks that I can get for free. So if I want to watch some of the others, I got to pay for a damn fee. But it was Pelosi and the newscast lady, and they're talking about the Biden economics working and the whole thing, that we're doing really well, and 12 million jobs, blah 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 blah. And
a $7 gallon of milk. What the heck?
And the news host said, but Trump had a quarantine. He had the not the quarantine, the whole thing with the country being shut down. And Pelosi comes back. No, but we have to. But Trump had his quarantine. He had the nation was shut down. That's why. And Pelosi just couldn't, let it die. She had to keep fighting the fact that, so what if he had this, we brought back all these jobs. No, you just brought back jobs that were lost. You didn't create new jobs. Come on, use your damn head. Pour another drink.
Pour another drink. Pour another drink. Yeah. Hey, I just want to say good morning to Ryan McCarthy, who is it's Ryan McCartney, who is the admin and I think group owner too of Never Give Up. It's a group here on Facebook, a good conservative, God-fearing Christian, whatever you are, group here on Facebook. It's a pleasure for me to be in there. So go join the group, and if there's any questions, the only answer you need to type in is that Bully with the Bull, Red Friday Morning Caffeine, and Dave Glovin have nominated that you become a member of that group. And one of these days, we'll get Ryan on. One of these days, we're going to just start bringing in all these conservative patriot admins and make a panel with them. And anybody's welcome to join Randy and I Monday and Wednesday. Jen, you're always welcome to join us Monday and Wednesday.
At 8 in the morning. I mean,
Monday,
what time? 10 your time. Yes,
we're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. in Idaho.
Okay, thanks. Mountain. Who needs sleep? It's for the week.
In Idaho,
I don't sleep.
8 o'clock
I don't sleep.
I
don't sleep. You'll see me. I mean, I go to bed and I'm still doing genealogy and eventually this This is my ritual. Okay, I'm going to bring you into my house so you can see what I.
Ooh,
So-
pay attention.
Yes, so pay
Actually,
attention.
he's not really
They're-
going to bring
they're-
you. He's really not
I
going to
know,
bring you.
I
into-
know.
He's
He's
really not going to bring
painting
you.
a picture. I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
know. No. He's really not going to bring you into his house because Randy, when he turns the camera off, turns that American flag around, and there's a Confederate flag on the
No,
other
no,
side of that.
No,
On the other side of that.
No,
No,
it's a source.
no, no,
source.
yeah.
Source.
That's
thing right
that's the
now.
sore spot. So, anyways, so about 8 o'clock, we all turn in to bed, right?
Yep.
And I'll be laying in bed. I'll have my 2 iPads, my notepad, my 2 cell phones. I'll have someone's show on, whether it be Jerry's show or a repeat of our show or someone's show as background noise. And I'm working on genealogy.
You watch
Eventually-
Boogie with the Bull?
Yeah. So eventually, I have 3 cats who go to bed when Daddy goes to bed. So when I know it's bedtime to actually turn the lights off, at least trying to get some sleep, is when Kendo, our black and white cat, he comes in first to bed. He lays at the bottom on the left side. Eventually, Sonata, a gorgeous, beautiful cat, I love her to death. She'll come in and she'll lay at the bottom of my feet, and that's when I say, "Daddy, it's time to go turn the lights off." So Daddy would turn the lights off, and at some point, Daddy wakes up and Daddy's doing genealogy again. And I'll go back to bed and I'll wake up and do genealogy again. My brain is just it's like that. They say don't go to bed with any wireless devices in your room because you will not get any sleep, and that's the truth. But
That's how you do it.
Or if you wake up because you can't sleep, don't turn them off. I mean, don't turn them on.
don't turn them on. But
That's my what about 10 minutes after I roll over and wake up, and I grab my phone or one of my tablets. My wife is turn that off and go back to bed.
So eventually I'll become unconscious and I'll finally fall asleep, and that's when the damn nightmares kick in. My mom will come and pay me a visit. And God, she still does that. I wish she would sit out my bedroom. I feel like I should wear pajamas going to bed at night sometimes. That's a little bit too much information. But eventually, but eventually I'll fall asleep.
That's
and,
as bad as saying the F word.
So eventually I'll fall asleep, and then
Oh my God! I'm gonna have to bleach my brain.
So
as
morning
soon as this
comes.
broadcast is
So
done.
usually around 8:30, Sonata, if I haven't woken up, she'll come over and she'll very gently, with her whiskers, will touch my face and wake me up. And she'll look at me like, "Dad, it's time to wake up now." And then I get my day started. But that's how my life is.
Wow.
But I find so much interesting stuff about people's family. And I'm not trying to push myself here, but God, the stuff that I find. And
Tell us
I know.
what you found about Jenn.
Well,
I have royalty. I have royalty.
You have royalty, but you
I-
also have. But you were a slave owner in another life in the Woodruff family.
You do not.
huge. Yeah, your ancestor was a very huge
I-
slave owner.
Yeah.
The
think you had-
Woodruff? No, I'm not
yeah.
a Woodruff.
Oh.
By marriage.
Well, I'm not saying your
No,
bloodline.
he's talking about
okay?
he's
No, I'm
talking about who you were. He's talking about who you were before you became a Woodruff.
No.
Do I have to give reparations or do I get anything?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Actually,
You have to give Randy and I reparations.
so your one ancestor, it's distantly connected, but your one ancestor owned this huge plantation, and very wealthy. He had like over 400 slaves, and they built these gorgeous buildings. Eventually, he croaks, and the family leaves the property to a local university, and they turn it into classrooms and dorms and so forth. Well, some idiot, left-wing woke student had to do the background of the story of this plantation to find out that it was owned by slaves, and that just caused all kinds of problems for the family. But yeah, But it's not just slave owners. It's all kinds of interesting stuff. People who fought in battles and won and lost. And I mean, I get excited. The sad thing is that no one in my family cares about history, about family history, and that's sad.
Because your
Another one-
family is your best customers.
Right.
They always were
Another-
when I was selling Girl Scout cookies 30, 40, however many years ago.
Another one of Jenn's early relatives was the head mechanic at the Ford Motor Company,
Oh,
and they're famous because they were the one who told Henry no 4-speed manual shift Crown Vics.
yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I actually, one of my current clients, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. He actually has Woodruff in his family. So what I need to do?
Wait a minute. You're related to Beth McCord. Now you're related to
not
Jenn
me. No.
Woodruff.
No, a client. A
One
client.
of my
Okay.
clients
Okay.
has Woodruff in his family. So Jenn, with your permission, I had archived your family tree back in the day. So with your permission, I'll reactivate it and try and make some connections here. And
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
Jesse's side, but
Now,
that'd be cool.
Wouldn't that make sense though that a Woodruff is related to a Woodruff?
Yeah, the whole inbred thing is just weird. Don't get into it.
Yes.
No. I would just think that if you look back, like Smith, it's a very common name here. I'm sure if Randy traced back the majority of the Smiths, they're all related, meaning that a male non-Smith married a Smith, or a female non-Smith married a Smith, and everybody became Smiths. Because the weird thing on my tree that Randy did is it appears that there are legs of the Glovinsky family that share all of the same names. I mean, it was really weird.
Yeah, all my kids do. They're all Woodruffs. Is that what
I
you're
guess.
talking-
Yeah, I guess
Well,
what
what
you
gave it
do-
away was he kept talking about Abraham Glovinsky and his second wife. The name didn't match. So
See, the thing I found out about your family, and the reason why I kind of like, put
They're
it off to the
dead.
side. They're dead. So I might, plug your stuff back in. But
Okay.
is that one thing I found is that depending on your ethnicity, being
Yep.
a Jew
Ellis Island.
or Spanish or whatever. They for whatever reason they don't want their stuff made public. Okay, so
Well-
my problem was I was finding a lot of brick walls because people didn't want the information out there, and then of course it was a whole the spelling of the name. Your name's changed spelling quite a few times.
Well, no,
Which
I
made-
mean, they were Glovinskys before they came here. Most of them stayed. They were the exception. If you came in with a weird ethnic sounding name like Ravanovich Kudaladotsky, that it was very common for the person that signed you into America at Ellis Island to say, now your last name is Braun, and just cut it all off or take the ski off. But
Yeah.
the Glovinskys, Abraham, and I forget the name of his second wife. I think it was Clara, but Abraham and his wife and her daughter, who became his daughter, and all their sons came here as Glovinskys, and to this day, they are all still Glovinskys. My grandfather, during the time of Hitler, decided he didn't want to face any racial prejudice, and he axed it off. My father was born a Glovinsky. He was the youngest. The two older the two older, Larry and Janice, my aunt and uncle, they were Glovinskis. My grandmother married and became a Glovinsky. Turns out I'm related to most of the Glovinskis that I found on Facebook. Even some of the Glovins too. But anyway,
we
don't hear enough about Randy's family.
Yeah.
The Amishes and the Mennonites. We don't hear
a lot of Mennonites. I love my wife's her father's side. Moors, right? They were Quakers. So I got back. I think it was like maybe the 1800s, and her ancestor. He was married. He had a couple kids, and he saw another woman, and he spent some time with her. Got caught, and the Quakers, they frown on having sex outside the marriage, and they went to him and they said, "Look, you got to pay homage, and you got to do this, this, and this." So, in the Quaker notes about his response to being punished for getting caught was. I forget the guy's first name, but so-and-so Moore moved out west, never to be heard from again. And that was in the Quaker's notes, right? And I can't find him.
Do you think they did him in, or did
well, but I'm thinking that here's a guy who's a Quaker, lived by certain standards, moving out west to, at that point it was the Wild West, right? Either he survived with with a new family and changed his name and whatever, or he wound up getting killed in a shootout or something. But so her family, her dad's side ends real soon after I did found some things about him. But
that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. It would be sad if Randy found something really bad about your family and he told you, and then you excommunicated that person as a member of the family, went back and dug him up, dug him or her up, and moved them from the family plots to someplace else.
Yeah. I did find something interesting since I am John. I'm not sure if you've been following my stuff, but I am recreating myself because of some things that occurred with me between me and the South. But
the new and improved Randy Rhodes. Not only was Randy Rhodes court-martialed by the Northern genealogy groups on Facebook, cut down to a buck private, and sold to the South, where he became Grand Dragon of Genealogy, and
we've all been there.
I only gave him that title because the South created the Ku Klux Klan.
So anyway, I'm recreating myself. I put applications in to join the union, but in the process of looking for more guys who fought for the North, I came across this one Stevens, okay, and who happens to be a very big person here in Lancaster County. Back in the day, this one ancestor of mine, his job was going around to farms and homes collecting urine. Because urine was used for making gunpowder and some other stuff, and saltpeter. Okay, he was called.
I was going to say they used to fill it with F-bombs and throw them at people.
Yeah. He was called a saltpeter man, and he would go around and he would collect.
Remember, this is a family show now. Now that the interference is gone, people can hear us.
Well, did you guys see the image of the woman and how she had to pee back in the day?
Oh, for the love of God, no! Why? Where?
Well, you have to remember these women are wearing these gowns with like 6, 8, 10 layers of material, right? And back in the day, it was not proper for women to sit down to pee. So they would have to. You have to go to my profile and look at the picture. But there's an image there of a woman using a potty bowl to go to the bathroom. It's just disgusting, but my ancestor would go over here collect that, add it to pour it into a barrel, and then they would take it someplace and they would process it and make saltpeter out of it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy your beverage, Dave.
There
Really
you go.
good
Drink it
time.
down.
What?
I hope it's yellow.
Oh dear God. Ow, stop
It
this.
is yellow. Oh my God.
This is so inappropriate. Oh my God.
So anyway,
Anyhow.
but these are the things
But
that make me
but
excited when I
Jenn,
see these things.
It is so appropriate, Jen, but people are actually watching the David Randy show.
It is what it is. That's awesome.
So-
No,
so-
it's fascinating. I had
and
no
some-
idea, Randy.
And some
So
people
I'm
even
gonna
want to be
recreate-
on it.
So I'm going to recreate your tree, Jen, and I'm going to find all the rude interesting stuff about you that's embarrassing. And I'm going to put it
it's
on
not-
Facebook.
Well,
Oh
well,
my!
well,
Thank you.
what-
That's
what
what I
you
love
need-
about genealogists.
really, if you
But,
wanna if you
my
want to
last
find
name-
the embarrassing things on
It's
Jen, you
a
have
weird
to
name.
just offer Jesse an insane amount of money, because I
Oh,
am
please do.
convinced that when Jen logs out of this broadcast, turns off her mic, turns off her camera, there are things much more entertaining than
No,
what happens on.
I'm really
on-
not. It's
on the broadcast.
boring. No, I go to
Because
bed.
Jen-
I get a book. I fall asleep reading. It's what I
Jen
do.
said something the other day about she actually did use the F word at home. Yeah, and I think it has something to do with trying to get your computer to boot the other day. You dropped
I didn't drop anything. I'm not even Catholic, but I just have the need to do the sign of the cross. I don't know. Okay, I was frustrated.
it doesn't do you much good. I've been doing it
You
for
know,
61. I've been doing it for 61 years, and
wow.
Yeah,
so-
62 years.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I always thought was kind of funny was, as Catholics, they sin and then they go to the priest or whatever, and they give confession and say, go forth, my friend, my friend, say 100, Hail Marys and and don't sin again. And what they did, they go and sin again, because they
keep
know
confession.
that they go to confession. The whole idea is to stop sinning. You get
Keep
caught
the
the first time.
confession booth open.
But this is another thing I don't understand about my Christian friends. They say you have to be saved in Jesus' name before you die, so that when you get to heaven, he's going to let you in. I wonder how many people from the world get up to heaven. Jesus says you have to be saved in order to get in. And they say, what do I need to do? And he goes, you're saved.
No, isn't sad? This is the saddest verse in the Bible. This guy goes to heaven in the Bible. This is a scripture. And he says, but I prophesied in your name. We did this, we did that. And Jesus looks at the guy and says, depart from me. I never knew you.
Yeah.
It's all about knowing
Well,
him.
I
If
can
you ignore
imagine.
him, there's
I can
no
imagine-
word.
I
there's
can
no-
imagine. Go ahead.
Prayer in the Bible that says, do this, say this, and you're saved. No, it says believe in ABC, accept, believe, confess. That's what it is. Accept, believe, confess, and get to know him. You
Yeah.
have to talk to him.
But-
You can't just get there and be like, hey, I used your name when I was, this is so funny. My
Right.
dad calls it the Jesus part. This part of the car, it's called the Jesus part. And I'm like, there's really a part of car called the Jesus part? He's like, yeah, it's when people
The
lose.
driver.
No, when you're in the engine and you drop something, they call it the Jesus part because they cuss and they say his name. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad, Dad. But I'm like, if that's the only time you say his name, that's sad. And that's
But
why he
then-
says, depart
then
from
you
me, I
got-
never knew you.
You got all these guys like Joel Osteen. When Joel
Yeah.
gets to heaven and Jesus says, like you just said, Jen, I don't know you. You're at the wrong place.
Bummer.
Joe's most likely going to look at Jesus and go, I'll just build my own.
He'll say, help yourself. Oh, it's
You
so
know,
sad. There's only
I'll just build my own.
Yeah,
You
during
know?
that hurricane, people
Oh
are like
yeah.
pounding on the
Yeah.
door. Can we come in? Can we come in? And he would not let them in. This is not Jesus in heaven. This is Olstein on
Yeah.
earth. There's a terrible hurricane. People are trapped. They want to come in. There's nowhere to go. Their houses are destroyed. Was it a hurricane or tornado? I don't know. But he wouldn't, because he didn't want to sacrifice his.
There's videos of
I
people.
think it was he didn't want his he didn't want them bringing dirt and mud into
Yeah.
inside.
Oh,
But there's-
That's what it was.
There's videos of true Catholics showing up for Sunday service and getting in, and in the middle of the service, just like standing up and going, "You have to bow and accept Jesus," and doing all that, doing all the real, talking the real side of prayer. And you see like 4 or 5 big thugs that work for Holstein doing security, just like come down on them and escort the guy out of the building. You know,
well, there's a
Oh,
verse in the Bible, and I'm like totally misquoting it because I don't know the specifics of it, but this is what it means. If there is no poop in the barn, you don't have animals. So it's going to get messy.
Oh God.
It's supposed to be messy. Life is messy. Sorry if
Oh, my
so
God.
what? There's a song about that too. You built a lovely mausoleum for your soul. So he built this lovely church for what? So people could come in and be like, "Oh, it's beautiful. It's not going to serve you. It doesn't serve God. Doesn't do a darn thing, but make Joel happy."
oh God,
That's
yeah, well,
ridiculous.
it's making Joel happy because not only do you have one huge mansion somewhere else you have another one,
Right.
and then you buy your first private jet for your church so that you can fly it everywhere you need to go. Then you got to have another one that I can't think of the guy's name, but I can see his face. But Kenneth something.
Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland. There was a lady from it wasn't CNN, but it was one of the local TV stations where he bought a small airport, and that's where he keeps his planes. And evidently, there's a nice size home that he can live in when he's there. He caught him. He had just flown in, and he was being chauffeured out, and she got him going about the plane that he just bought from Tyler Perry. And he's like, "Oh my God, Tyler is one of the good guys. He made that plane so cheap." It's like this in the camera. "He made that plane so cheap, I had to buy it. God said it's a deal."
Oh my gosh. There's our next televangelist, Dave. Good job.
Oh my God!
I have issues. Not saying nothing bad about the man of God if he is a man of God, but that's scary stuff.
No, Mike Huckabee, who I believe is an ordained minister of some kind, as well as a great conservative. I think he could live very well. Well, he probably lives very well now, but I think he could live very well if he became a televangelist, only because he tells people the truth.
Right.
And people would want to give him all of their money because he tells them the truth. He tells them like it is.
Randy was going to say something. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, did you guys? I think I'm thinking the right person, but there was a stabbing of a minister, a priest, while he was doing his sermon.
Yes.
But I think it's the same one that I saw on Twitter. The guy has this phenomenal church, and he's
Syrian
dressed up
bishop. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And he speaks his mind, and I was very impressed with him. Then I find out that he was stabbed to death.
Yeah.
He didn't die. He was stabbed in the middle of a sermon.
Oh, he didn't die.
No, he didn't die.
This guy was stabbing him with a pen, and then, but it didn't puncture. He got beat up pretty bad. I mean, it bruised around the neck. He was in the hospital. Well, he's being carried off on a gurney to be put in the ambulance. He has his hand out and he's praying for the guy. I don't know how the guy was there. Someone. It was crazy. The guy has a heart of gold. I'm telling you, it was awesome.
I love watching him. He's I mean,
He's one of our
his whole persona comes across like wow, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, this is going on 11:30. I gotta jump off here.
Nice to do a show with you, Randy.
Always a pleasure. Matter of fact, Jen, if you want, you can come back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week.
Yeah, I love getting up early for the show.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Well, then stay up late. You do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, you know I do. Okay. You like texting me, Dave. You're right. You text me. You're like, go to bed. I'm like, stop it. Just because I'm on Facebook, you have to tell me to go to bed. That's so funny.
Well, I forget that 3:00 in the morning is only 1:00 in the morning Idaho time.
It's funny. It's
1:00 in the morning, people are still awake at 1:00 in the morning.
So I gotta get going.
All right, Randy.
I have room for one last paying client if anybody's interested, or I'm also open just for questions and answers. I can do that. I mentioned before. I'll say it again. It's this one gentleman. I finally got permission to use his name. Derek Byers. He came on a couple of days ago with a question, and he said, I want to give my respects to my Confederate ancestor. Yes, it's another Confederate client. And he said, can you find where he's buried? And I said, sure, I'll figure it out. I had the answer for him in 3 minutes. The guy was hugely impressed, and he said, here's my money. So
the new and improved Randy Rhodes genealogy service.
Awesome.
Not only he can give you 15 generations in 5 minutes now.
And I've been known to find adopted parents. So it's difficult, but I've managed to on occasion find a person's parents, and it's simply because that they seal adoption papers and so forth like that. But at some point in life, the parent and the child start doing things in the public that brings it to the public eye, which means I'm allowed to find that stuff, and with due diligence, I can find and track down. And that's how I helped the one General Michael Miskowski here on Facebook. He was having a medical emergency, and using his ancestry, I was able to pinpoint his house, and I notified 911 in his state, and they sent ambulances there to save his life.
That is awesome.
Job.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Good
I
job.
love it.
All right, folks. Randy, you said you got to go. I'm sure, Jen, it's probably lunchtime at Wealth.
Bye. I don't know what it is.
Randy just set off his parachute. So.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, yeah, I gotta go.
Any words of wisdom, Jen?
No, just God bless the patriots and keep praying for our country. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
All set.
All right. Boom. I have more fun doing that. I am going to read one thing that Geo Mega Man put on the live chat earlier, and I went to put it on the screen, but it was going to take up a significant amount of the screen at the time. So I want you to read along with me. Good morning, everyone. Big Close the Border rally in Boston, Massachusetts tomorrow. That's Saturday at the State House steps, 10 a.m., hosted by Jeff Cooner, WRKO Boston Radio Morning Show guy, which we are going to attend with a lot of speakers and an angel mom who lost her son getting run down and killed on his motorcycle by a drunk illegal. If you can mention the rally on our show today, they would appreciate it. We would. Geo Mega Man is a great guy too. He has, I cannot remember the name of the group on the spur of a moment like this, but become Geo Mega Man's friend, and we'll get invited into the group, I'm sure. Or if I remember, I'll invite you into the group this weekend. Go to go to this rally. Your best bet would be to just set your GPS for Boston City Hall or the name of the park, the Common. Boston Common, and park in the Boston Common parking garage, because you probably will not find any parking in Boston, because on Saturdays I think you still have to pay for meters. So yeah, you won't find any parking. Your best bet is to go into the Boston Common parking garage and come up on the Commonwealth Avenue side and cross the steps on Beacon Street, I believe it is. Cross the steps, and you'll be looking at the Gold Dome and the steps, and it'll be right there. If you're in the Boston area, make sure you stop by if you can. That's all I can tell you. It's important to get out and show your support at events like this, and we wish that you would. Let's see. Tomorrow is going to be a rare Saturday morning boogie with the bull. Not sure exactly what it will be. Going to try to reach out to Mike Grant, who is on his way from Dublin, California, down to Yuma, Arizona, to deliver Narcan and some other supplies for the Border Patrol officers to use if it is needed. As people try to get into America or get injured or damaged trying to get into America. So we hope to get him on tomorrow for any portion of time that he can make available to us. And then on Monday, he is driving back from Yuma, Arizona to Dublin, California, and we hope to get him on live for that as well. And if you don't know, Boogie with the Bull morning caffeine is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday we call it Red Morning Caffeine because we talk about remember everyone deployed. On Friday we wear red to the Friday broadcast, and we talk about and salute and honor those in the military who are no longer with us on Earth, as well as those who are still active in the military, because it's just important to remember them and think about them. They have one of the hardest jobs. They have the hardest job in the country. They got to protect us, and it can get kind of crazy. So be a part of that. Then we also have Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live and Thursday Night Live, just like the name says. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. We are currently on Facebook on the Dave Glovin profile. Then we get shared everywhere else from there. If you're watching the broadcast, please like the broadcast, share the broadcast everywhere you can. On Facebook, you can go over to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and you can take the broadcast from there and share it everywhere you want off of Facebook. And if it's a social media network that allows YouTube channels to be embedded, we will go over there and we will put it over there. Or if we have to, we'll just go over there and post it the old-fashioned way. We could also be live on the @BoogieWTBull X profile. We were not there today. This morning, we were live on the Dave Glovin profile on Facebook, the Boogie with the Bull page on Facebook, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. We have to make a decision to up StreamYard so that we have a couple of more destinations, because like I said, Rumble will hopefully be coming by the end of the week. We apologize for the interference that you heard during the broadcast. A lot of times I know StreamYard is able to take that out, but we apologize if it is in the podcast that people watch. And if it is, please let me know that it is still in there, and we'll try to make sure we do better the next time. Let's see. Let's scroll down one more time and thank you, Mega Man. Hey, my pleasure. And sometime we should get you on the broadcast. I keep saying that we should get people on the broadcast. And when I tell you that, bug me. Tell me on Messenger that you want to come on. like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m., or you want to join us 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday. Come on in, and be part of the fun. That's what we like. You do a broadcast on Facebook, let us know, and we'll promote your broadcast, and we'll get you on Boogie with a Bull to promote your broadcast, and that's just what we do. And then, like I said earlier, if you're an admin of a conservative patriot group, which is what I call Republicans these days, I just like the term conservative patriot better. Let me know, because one of these days we're just going to get a group of conservative patriot admins that want to come on and talk, because I'm sure they have an interesting take on things. But thanks to you, Mega Man, for watching. Melinda Brown, Courtney, my buddy, always watches. David Novar, Dr. Novar, computer technician, is our technical advisor. I wanted to call him technical guru, but he didn't like that, so we raised him one pay grade, and he is now our technical advisor. He is the one that caught the source of the interference, and I appreciate that very much. Have simple computer questions that he can answer, you can go to the David Novar Facebook page. The profile is red, white, and blue, so that you know that you're on the right one. And no, let me see. There's a different profile picture on it now, and I can't tell what it is because it's too small. But it's David Novar, David Novar. And if you go to him and you have a simple question about computers, I'm sure he will not mind answering you. If it's more complex, then there might be some donation or fee involved, but that is up to you. I want to thank Alan McMillan from Buddy's Boat Barn and Ambulance Conversions. If you have questions about boats, or I forget where Alan is, but if you need to talk about boat issues, you can always talk to Alan about them. And I joke about ambulance conversions because he bought a used big rig. They call them ALS, Advanced Life Support Cube ambulances. And I believe he is trying to sell it right now. They make great conversions for businesses. I have friends that actually built a really nice 4-seat living room in the back of one with big screen TV, game units, and a lot of cool stuff you can do. But I know I have friends who are contractors and use them. I also have friends who use them as mobile studios. I would have liked to. If we ever came into the amount of money that it would cost to buy one, we'd love to buy one and make it a mobile studio. But we can talk about that later. Anyway, you've been watching Boogie with the Bull. Red Friday Morning, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. Equal airtime is given to responsible parties with opposing views. All you have to do is message me and tell me that somebody in the live chat or somebody on camera hurt your feelings. And as long as both of you are willing to come on to a 10 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday, Friday, Boogie with the Bull, there'll be a hot bench with judges, me and Randy, and maybe Jenn if she can be with us, or Bonnie Johnson if she can be with us, and we'll listen to both of you explain why you should be forgiven. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. You're not Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. It's time to feed the dogs, time to feed me, time to feed Lola the kitty. Everybody got to sleep until almost noon, except for me. And go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. It has a multicolored chicken is the profile picture on the page. Go to the Family Treasures page. Take a look around. beautiful handmade crocheted items made by our daughter-in-law and my wife Donna, who also take part in craft fairs in and around different areas of Florida. And if they are ever local to you, you should come to one of those shows and take a look around. Again, go to the Family Treasures Facebook page, and you'll get information on that. But if you see something on the page, you can message them and make a special order if you want to do that. And if you have something else that you need that you don't see that you want to talk to them about, special order that as well. Anyway, my tongue is getting tied. I didn't do breakfast, and my coffee's getting cold. So we're going to pull the plug on this one. Like I said, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, a rare Saturday morning boogie with the bull. The links will go out to everybody around 9:45. Meet me in the studio, 9:55. We go live at 10 a.m. and at least an hour till 11 o'clock. And if it goes till 12 noon, then that's when it will end. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. You're all go out and enjoy the rest of your day. Let me take a look outside. The sun is out. It's cloudy here in beautiful Fleming Island, Florida. And if you give me a minute, I will tell you. It is not telling me. 82 degrees. Mostly clear, feels like 84 degrees. 86 is the projected high for today. Winds possible wherever you are in Florida at 6 miles an hour from the southeast. So not a bad day to go outside and enjoy your life. That's all I'm going to say. And for those of you following the dementia journey, saw the neurologist yesterday for a 6-month checkup. And for a male, 62 years old, living the life I live, I am okay where I am. I guess I'm still in early stages, but there has been some decline. And one of these days we'll do a dementia broadcast where anybody who has dementia is more than welcome to come on and be a part of it. Or if you're a healthcare professional and you have experience in it and want to share some advice, we are not doctors, so we won't be diagnosing anybody, but who knows? We may do that. Anyway, it's time to turn the mics off, turn the camera off, take care of some other things, and get ready to enjoy the weekend. So double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end one more time. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast